Chapter 15. As soon as I wake up the next day, I'm ready to go back down to the hideout to respond to the latest message on the wall. I didn't want to write back when the other kids were around. I know the messages are right there on the wall for everyone to see, but I don't think anyone else is reading them. Tucked away in the corner of the room, they're like a private conversation between me and this mystery person. Before I can check the hideout again, Nora and I have to take Ziggy for his Saturday morning walk. Nora meets me at May's apartment this time because it's our first payday. It's my very first payday ever. Here you go, girls. May hands each of us a crisp $20 bill. Thank you, we say at the same time. No, thank you, May says. Ziggy's so much happier when he can take a long walk. I really appreciate your help. Nora grins as she folds up the money and stuffs it into her jeans pocket. While May gets Ziggy's leash on, I tell them I'll be right back. I hurry next door and into my bedroom. My piano savings manila envelope is on top of my desk. I stare at the money for a second, feeling proud. I earned this, and soon I'll be able to buy a keyboard and pay for piano lessons all on my own. Once the money's inside, I stick the envelope in the back of my desk drawer for safekeeping. When Nora and I get back from Ziggy's walk, I tell her that I need to check something in the hideout. Since I'm normally the one who drops Ziggy off, I take him with me. You have to be quiet, I warn him as I carry him into the storage closet. Nobody else is in the hideout. I sit on the beanbag chair while Ziggy explores the room, smelling everything, and read the latest message again. I get what you mean. Could the hideout be your soft place? It feels like mine. I just wish it could fix my problems. How should I respond? I want to know who this person is, but they don't seem to want to tell me yet. If I knew who they were, then maybe I could do more to help them. Maybe we could help each other. What I really need is to find out more details about this person so I can figure out who it is. If I'm going to get to the bottom of this, I need to act like a detective. I think about it some more and finally grab a marker to write. Thank goodness for the hideout. It may not fix all of your problems, but you know what helps? Dance parties. Also, doing stuff you love. What are you into? Joy. I decide to leave it at that. Maybe their answer will be the clue I need to figure out which one of the fabulous five is writing to me. Let's get you home, I tell Ziggy. Back upstairs, Mom is in the living room, dragging the couch away from the wall. Dad is standing there, watching her with a doubtful expression on his face. What are you doing? I ask. Rearranging the furniture, Mom says. We can come up with a better setup in here, maximize what little space we have. It was fine the way it was, Dad says. We'll see when I'm done. Well, one of Spencer's guys called out, so I'm going to help him with a project at a client's house, Dad says. He's going to pick me up and pay me. Is that okay with you? Why wouldn't it be okay with me? Mom asks. She picks up our armchair that's sitting in the corner of the room. Dad goes over and grabs it from her. Over there, please. Mom points to the opposite corner of the room, and Dad puts the chair down. Thanks. I know you don't want me working with Spencer, Dad says. That's not what I said, Mom says. You're twisting my words again. I wish they would stop bickering about everything. It makes me more and more uneasy, like I'm standing on shaky ground that could collapse at any minute. At least this isn't a full-on argument. Yet. Before it turns into one, I leave the living room. Malia is in our room, changing into her ballet outfit. I glance at my pile of piano books that I have been collecting dust since we got here, and I wish I had a lesson today. I grabbed the book on top and opened to a song I was working on with my teacher, Ms. Nancy, before I had to stop my lessons. I sit at my desk and hummed the song, moving my fingers as though the top of my desk were the keys. Maybe I can print out a picture of a keyboard and practice that way? Then I remember that one of my books is a piano theory workbook for practicing, recognizing, and writing the notes on sheet music. I don't need a piano for that, so I quickly come up with a new plan. I'll do at least one exercise in this workbook every single day. By the time I get back to my piano lessons, Ms. Nancy will be impressed by how well I can read music. I start working on one of the workbook exercises, and then Mom pokes her head into our room. Ready to go to ballet, Malia? Yep, Malia says. See you later, alligator, she says to me. In a while, crocodile, I say back. Your dad's going to stay until I get back, Mom tells me. Then he's going to go help Uncle Spencer. Okay. She leaves, and I finish up the workbook exercise. I'm about to start the next one, but I decide to open the Notes app on my phone instead. On the top, I type Hideout Messages and two emojis. Below that, I list everyone I know that could have written them. Oliver. He'd said that his parents don't like how much time he spends drawing. Maybe it's taking an even bigger toll on him. Elena. She seems pretty happy, but maybe things aren't so great at home. She has her own room, but that doesn't mean she isn't struggling with something else. At the bus stop, her twin brothers don't pay any attention to her. She doesn't seem to mind, but maybe deep down she really does? Miles. He likes to make jokes, but what if that's all a cover up for whatever struggles he's going through? And then there's Nora, but she said it wasn't her. I don't see why she'd lie to me, not when we're becoming better friends. Finally, there are the other older kids in the building. Elena said they don't go down to the hideout anymore, according to her brothers. But what if that isn't true? What if one of them is still going down there when nobody else is around? Like late at night or something, when nobody else would see them. Could I be writing to one of the older kids? All I know is I'm making a connection with whoever it is, and I want to do more to help than write back on a wall. I stare at the list, turning all the possibilities around in my head, but I know I won't get an answer just by thinking. I need to do something. But what? Can you help me with something? Can you help me with something? I asked Nora a couple of days later while we're walking Ziggy. It's raining out, but only lightly. We're all wearing rain jackets, including Ziggy, who has a bright yellow doggy coat on. It even has a hood. I almost died of cuteness when May opened the door and I first saw him wearing it. Nora and I are also carrying umbrellas. I'm wearing rain boots, and she has a pair of flowery Doc Martens. Help you with what? Nora asks. If it's math homework, you should ask someone else. I'm actually not that bad at it, but I despise it and I don't want to look at any more of it than I have to. We reach a shallow puddle in the dip of the sidewalk, and Ziggy sniffs at it, but then stands there. It's just a little water, Ziggy, I say. You can walk through. He looks up at us and then back at the puddle, like, no way. Nora lifts him up, walks through the puddle, and then places him back on the sidewalk. He licks her hand as thanks. When we reach the park entrance, Nora passes me the leash, since we usually switch off at this point. No math, I say. Remember those messages I showed you at the hideout wall on game night? The mysterious person I'm writing to? I want to find out who it is. I already told you I don't recognize the handwriting, Nora says, sounding a little annoyed to be repeating herself. I know. I was thinking you could help me figure out who it is. We could work together. Two brains are better than one, right? I'll be Sherlock, and you'll be... What's his sidekick's name? Watson, Nora says. Right, Watson, I say. You'll be Watson. First of all, I'm nobody's sidekick, Nora says as she hops over a larger puddle. I lead Ziggy around it. I'm the hero of my own story. You know what I mean, I say. Come on, it could be fun. We're already starting a dog walking business together. Why not solve a mystery together too? Maybe that could be our thing. We could call ourselves the Dog Walking Detectives. Nora stops walking and looks at me. You know, that sounds like an awesome movie idea. Her eyes light up. I'm going to write that down in my idea notebook when I get home. You're welcome, I say with a laugh. It starts raining a little harder, and Ziggy starts whining. Maybe we should head back, I say. Nora agrees, and we turn around toward the park entrance. Why do you want to know who's writing the messages so badly anyway? Nora asks. I guess I relate to them, with all the stuff going on with my parents. How are things going with your parents? Nora asks. They're still fighting. A lot, I say. I didn't tell you when it first happened, but my dad even slept at my uncle's house one night to get some space, my mom said. He never slept away from home when we were living at our house, not unless he was traveling or something. Wow, I'm sorry. Thanks. I'm scared of what will happen if they can't stop arguing. I shrug. I don't know. I guess I want to know who this other person is because it helps me to know I'm not alone in going through something. And I want to help this person. What could you do to help them? Nora asks. I'm not sure how to answer her. How could I help other than listen to them? And I guess I'm already doing that by reading their messages. I don't know, I finally admit. I'll figure something out, but I'm putting myself in their position. Why write that poem on the wall if you don't want someone to reach out and help? They could have written it in their notebook or somewhere else private, but they chose to write it in the hideout where someone could find it. That must mean something. They want to be found out. But what if they don't want to be found out? Nora asks. I thought of that. But it's probably Elena, Miles, or Oliver. If they're hurting, don't you want to know so you can help? It could be one of them, Nora says. Or it could be someone else. We don't know if one of the older kids goes to the hideout when we're not around. True, I say. We're both quiet for a few moments as we walk, the rain making pitter patter sounds against our umbrellas and our shoes squeaking on the wet sidewalk. Then Nora says, Okay. Okay, as in you'll help me? I ask. I guess I can help, she says, but I'm not going to be your sidekick. I'll be your advisor, like Alfred was for Batman. I laugh. Deal. And if you write a dog walking detective movie, I want some of the credit. Well, yeah, and obviously you're going to compose the score. Sounds like a plan. We grin at each other in the rain until we hear more of Ziggy's whimpers. We're going, Zig, Nora says as the rain picks up. You're the boss. She scoops him up and we run home, getting soaked, but laughing the whole way. Chapter 16. I keep checking the hideout for new messages every morning, but days later there's still nothing new. Maybe I should have written something else. Or maybe Nora is right and the person doesn't want to be found. But I have to go with my gut, and my gut says to keep trying. I grab a marker and write a new message under my last one. Is everything okay? Hope you're feeling better. Right back soon. Joy. Next to that, I draw a picture of a sun with a smiley face. If nothing else, I hope it makes whoever's writing these messages smile. On Friday, I wake up with extra energy. Today is the day that Nora and I agreed to ask our parents for permission to walk more dogs. I decide to ask mom and dad first thing in the morning, before dad has to drop mom off at the train station. I quickly get dressed for school and find both of my parents in the kitchen. Dad is pouring coffee from the pot into two travel mugs, one for him and one for mom. Mom is taking the creamer out of the fridge. Neither of them are talking, but at least they aren't fighting. I need to ask you something, I say, both of you. Sure, but make it quick, Mom says. I have to leave for work in a minute. I'm catching an earlier train today. Basically, Nora and I want to walk more dogs, 4 dogs total, which means 2 leashes for me to hold and 2 leashes for Nora to hold. We've been walking Ziggy for 2 weeks and it's going great. Once you get a hang of walking one dog, it's not that hard to hold one more leash. And then we can make more money to put toward our goals, like my piano lessons. So, do I have your permission? Mom and Dad look at each other. And then Mom looks at her watch. Uh, I really need to leave. Can we talk about this later? Say yes now, I say. Please. I promise we can handle it. We've thought this through. Uh, mouth twists as she looks at Dad. How about we talk about it in the car and then Dad will tell you our answer when he gets back. She comes over to me and kisses my forehead. Then she leaves the kitchen saying, Aaliyah, come say goodbye. I wait for Dad to come back from dropping off Mom. As soon as he walks in the door, I say, Can I do it? I heard you tell May that working for yourself is the way to go. Nora and I would be opening our own dog walking business. You could even help us. Since you're working with Uncle Spencer more and more, you can give us business tips. Dad's expression shifts to curiosity. I've got him, I think, though I don't dare smile yet. May did say yesterday she's really happy with you two walking Ziggy, Dad says. Thank you, May. I think if you think you can handle walking two dogs each, then we can give it a try, Dad says. Mom agrees. But we'll start with a trial period. If it gets too hard to keep that many dogs under control, you'll have to stop. Thanks, Dad. I go over and hug him. You're welcome, my little entrepreneur, Dad says as he hugs me back. It must run in the family. I can't wait to tell Spencer about this. I smile. Oh, and I have good news, Dad says. I got an email from one of the jobs I applied for. I have an in-person interview next week. Guess I should go ahead and shave. He rubs his beard, which is still growing in. That's amazing, I hug him again, squeezing harder this time. Hopefully it goes well. I like the sound of the company. You'll do great, Dad, I grin. Finally, things are looking up. Nora gets the okay from her dad, too. So after school, we get together to research how to start a dog walking business. We also begin designing our flyers. On one website, we find a list of supplies every dog walker should own: a spare leash, lots of baggies, and a reusable water bottle, and a plastic bowl to keep the dogs hydrated. We already have some of those supplies for Ziggy, but we'll need more. We decide to use some of our first 2 weeks of earnings from May to pay for these supplies. You know what I just thought of? Nora asks as we're picking out items online. Her dad agreed to let us use his credit card to place the order, and we'll pay him back. What? I ask. Walking 4 dogs means picking up 4 times the amount of poop. She wrinkles her nose. I laugh. I know, so gross, but it'll be worth it for $80 a week. Over the weekend, we print our flyers out and hang them up around the building. We put them in each stairwell on each floor, plus inside the elevators. We also slip them under the doors of the tenants that Nora says own dogs. Nora's knowledge of where everyone lives in the building pays off big time. We create an email address for our company and put it on our flyers. We also include a picture of 2 of us walking Ziggy. Nora says that everyone in the building knows May and Ziggy, so if they see May has trusted us with walking Ziggy, they should trust us with their dogs too. I check our company email address whenever I can to see if anyone has sent us a message. On Tuesday night, there's finally a new email waiting for us. Hi, Joy and Nora. I saw the flyer for your dog walking business. We'd love our dog, Tank, to get an extra walk each day during the week. Can you let us know when you're available to chat more? Thank you. Best, Rebecca and Noah Wilkinson, apartment 4E. I immediately text Nora. Joy, OMG, check our email. We have a potential client. A few seconds later, Nora texts back. Nora. OMG, yay! I emailed the Wilkinsons back, and Rebecca agrees to interview us after she gets home from work the following day. Have you met Tank already? I asked Nora when it's time to head to Rebecca and Noah's apartment for our interview. I wonder what kind of dog he is. I bet he's big and strong. I hope we can handle him. I've seen him before. Nora gives a sly smile. He definitely lives up to his name. You'll see. When we get to the 4th floor, we knock on the door for 4E. I hear some barking, but it isn't that loud. The door opens. Hi, I'm Rebecca, the woman on the other side says. She's holding a dog, pretty small dog. He barks again. His dark eyes are really expressive, and he stares at us like he's trying to size us up. I look at Nora, who's smiling at me. See? This is Tank, Rebecca says. He's a little guy, but he has a big personality. Hi, Tank, I say. What kind of dog is he? A mini pinscher. Tank is around the same height as Ziggy, but a lot leaner. He has a shiny black coat with some brown areas around his face and legs. His ears point up. He's so cute, Nora says. Yeah, he's adorable, I say. Why don't we take him outside? Rebecca asks. We can do your interview out there. Sure, Nora says. Rebecca puts a harness on Tank and has a leash attached to it. She hands the leash handle over to me, and we head to the elevator. When we get outside to the patch of grass in front of the building, Tank immediately starts doing his business. He's pretty efficient, Rebecca says with a laugh. So when you girls walk dogs, do you make sure to clean after them? Always, Nora says. We ordered a whole bunch of poop bags. She pats the pocket of her denim jacket, where she's stored a couple of them. Rebecca nods. Great. And where do you plan to walk? Around the park behind the building, I say. We take Ziggy there, and he loves it. Go ahead and walk a little bit so I can see you two in action, Rebecca says. Okay, Nora says. I'll walk a few steps behind, Rebecca says. Nora and I walk ahead with Tank, and suddenly I'm nervous with Rebecca watching us. Walking dogs is so easy, but this is the first time we've had an audience. Tank seems a little wary of us as well. He keeps looking back to make sure Rebecca is still here. When it's time to cross the street, I look both ways extra carefully before walking across. Once we're inside the park, Tank seems happier. When we pass under a tree with some birds chirping inside, Tank starts barking up at them. It's pretty funny. The rest of the walk goes smoothly, but Nora and I don't talk much, like we normally do when we're walking Ziggy, since Rebecca is right behind us. I'm glad that Rebecca won't be following us every time we walk her dog. When we get back to the front of the building, I hand Tank's leash back to Rebecca. You guys did a great job. I'd love to hire you to walk him in the afternoons during the week, starting Monday if that's okay. More than okay, I say, toning down my excitement so I sound professional. The thing is, we're at work until 6 every day, but you've been walking Ziggy earlier than that, right? Yes, Nora says. I've been wondering about how you could pick up and drop off Tank when we're not home, Rebecca says. I hadn't thought of that. If the Wilkinsons aren't home, then how will we get Tank? May is always home when I need to get Ziggy. We have a plan for that, Nora says. I look over. What plan? Nora continues. Since Carlos has the keys to everyone's apartment for when he has to do the maintenance or whatever, would you be okay with him letting us into your apartment when it's time to get Tank? That way we won't need our own key. Carlos, the building's super. It's the perfect solution. I grin at Nora, who smiles back. That's a good idea, Rebecca says. Yes, I think that could work. Okay, we can go over and talk to Carlos now and make sure he's okay with it, Nora says. Great. Once you talk to him, can you ask him to give me a call? Rebecca asks. Will do, Nora says. Perfect. Thanks again. Tank seems to enjoy his walk with you. We did too. I lean over and rub the top of Tank's head. He wags his stubby tail and licks my hand. Guess he likes me now. See you later, Tank. Rebecca gives us one more smile before going inside the building with Tank. Once he's gone, I nudge Nora. That was amazing. Why didn't you tell me about the Carlos thing before? Nora laughs. I actually only thought of it at that moment. What? That was quick thinking. Seriously, she says. Now, let's go talk to Carlos and make sure he's fine with it. Do you think he'll agree to it? I ask. Nora tucks her hair behind her ear. I hope so, or else we won't get to keep our new client.